Greetings to all in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This past year, we started a new series called Words of Wisdom, and we haven't been doing it for the past couple of weeks due to the festivities and the special services. So we wanted to kick off the new year with starting this again. So the word of wisdom for today is defender. Now, a lot of times in church, pastors tell teachers, parents tell their kids, tell students, whatever it may be, Christians, that God is your ultimate defender. Many times in our civilization today, people are losing hope of God. People are losing the fear of God. They are executing their own sins without any fear of His punishment, of His judgment. People are doing their own thing. People are satisfying their own lustful desires and demoting the God Almighty who created them in the first place. Many times our civilization is losing civility. You can see this online, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it may be. People have the guts to say the rude comments, to discourage you, to demote you, to belittle you online, because they don't have the guts to say to you in your face, face to face. People who do this reveal the smallness of their heart. Many times people ridicule you, people rebuke you and provoke you in many ways in order to hide their own insecurities. But we as God's people must stand, as God's people must be confident in the power that God has given us. Great people make other people great. Genuine Christians never want to promote themselves, but want to promote God first and help with the welfare of the community. People who belittle other people are people who hide their insecurities and also think that in making fun of others, it will help heal themselves. Now, how do we handle these rude people in our lives? We all have them. People come from every area of our life, whether it be envy, whether it be jealousy, whether it be greed, gossip, whatever it may be. People are always there to destroy you. That's what the world is. That's what the world means when it means it's a trial. When the trials and tribulations come, think of it in that aspect. Now, how do you handle these rude people? You don't do it, but you let God handle it. You let God be your defender. Now, we know King David. King David was one of the greatest kings that Israel has ever known. Lived 40 years, did many things that kings back then could not have done. He knew what it meant to be attacked verbally, emotionally, and physically. He was a man of war. He fought many battles. Blood was on his hands. Not only that, he battled emotionally as well. King David, though he had achievements, though he was the greatest of them all, his own sons decided to rebel against him, whether it be Absalom and the others. His own people decided to overthrow him and take him off the throne. As a young man, David is anointed by Samuel the prophet at a young age. As soon as he's anointed, the first thing that he does is he goes back and tends the sheep as if it never happened. His humility is one of the reasons why he's one of the greatest kings to ever live. David, even being chased down like prey from Saul, being chased down for 2 years, King Saul wanted to kill him at all costs because David's fame was demoting his stature in front of the people. Even then, even when David had multiple opportunities to kill King Saul, whether it be in caves or whether they were slumbering, waiting for the next attack, he never did. Because he knew that God appointed him for a reason. It was not his right to alter God's plan. And not only that, not only did he respect God's wishes, but he also understood that this was a trial ground for him as well. God was putting him through these circumstances in order for him to understand that in order for you to get to the throne in Israel, I need to teach you some things. I need you to grow and mature as a believer. David never said a bad word against the king. He never retaliated because he knew that God was preparing his heart for the upcoming throne. David says in the famous chapter of Psalms chapter 23, verse 5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows." David was recognizing in the psalm God's goodness in his life. The fact that God was able to protect him, be his defender in front of all the obstacles that he faced. God anointed him with oil, basically telling others to back off and to leave him, because he is the anointed one, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And in the rest of the verse, that his cup overflows because God intervened in his life, because God was working in his life, and because of his trust and his persistence through his name. His cup overflowed. He was blessed by being the greatest king Israel has ever known. Now, with everything that David goes through in his life, it sounds like he was stressed out. Absolutely. He was stressed out, but he didn't use that energy to defend himself, because he knew that trusting God, trusting him as his provider, as Jehovah Jireh, trusting him as the defender, as the one whose eagles fly, whose eagle goes above any adversity, he trusted him. It takes a lot of faith and humility to rest and trust in God in our lives. There are many obstacles that we have to face, but God puts them there for a reason, because he loves us. Whether we are misunderstood, whether rumors are spread around you, whether people are gossiping of you and saying untrue things, destroying your reputation, whatever happens, we want to rise up and do something about it. But even Jesus, who was God himself, he could have brought down legions of angels to help deal with these wicked men. But yet he decided to stay calm and resilient and focused, because he knew what God's plan was. In 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 19, it says, "If you are suffering in a manner that pleases God, keep on doing what is right, and trust your lives to the God who created you, for he will never fail you." So all this to say, for this week and for the rest of this year, know that God is your defender. He is the God of angel armies. There is no one who is above him, and he is the one that controls all things, and he is sovereign. So if you are ever stressed, if you are ever going through things, if you're ever going through sickness or pain, or whatever thing you are going through, know that God has your side. And even King David, who went through every obstacle, was able to fight and overcome through the power of Jesus Christ. And with that, may God bless this word.